And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chant, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Friday, March 29th, 2024. And there is a lot to talk about because we have a very stormy weather pattern shaping up for Easter weekend across the state of Alaska. A second stronger storm will impact much of the state this weekend. It'll have more moisture to work with, so widespread moderate to heavy coastal rains and snow, especially as we get inland and across any elevation in through mountainous terrains, along with some high winds. And this will be spreading during the day on Saturday from southwest to north-northeast, first coming across the Alaska Peninsula and then spreading into the southwest interior. It's going to kind of split off into two sections, a colder, snowier section to the west of the Alaska Range for Saturday into Saturday night, and then along the western Gulf Coast up through Cook Inland on up toward the central Alaska Range. So again, kind of two pieces as I've been talking about here. And then behind the system, some colder air will return by early next week. And overall, there will be a threat of yet another system coming in off the Bering, especially into the west-southwest parts of the state, middle of next week. But after that, cooler temperatures just kind of prevail here past the first week of April. So looking at a couple of FAA webcams, Anchorage, we'll see strong winds here on Saturday into Saturday evening, especially hillside. And then a second batch of stronger winds. So the winds along hillside will be those southeasterly turn-again arm winds, and they could gust as high as 70 miles an hour along the upper elevations there, the Chugach and hillside. But then there will be south-southwest winds come in on the backside of this system as a front passes through for Sunday, and some gusty winds will get down here through the Anchorage Bowl, 30, 40 miles an hour, maybe even a bit higher than that. The temperatures this afternoon have been well above freezing, close to 40 degrees. Now, Talkeetna already picking up some light snow and fog with a temperature at 33 degrees, and there will be some heavier snows around Talkeetna, the Susitna Valley, especially the west side of the Susitna Valley that leans up against the Alaska Range. Could see some rather heavy snowfall. Also areas like Hatcher Pass will pick up 1 to 2 feet of snow. Also heavy snow, blowing snow. Thompson Pass there, just north of the central Gulf. So here's the way the current advisories, warnings are set up. Reason there isn't anything yet here in the southwest. They're still being issued and formulated, but I will assure you this region will be under some sort of winter weather-related advisory or warning for moderate to heavy snowfall along with blowing snow, especially sections here of the Alaska Peninsula. So what's going to happen, I should just preface, second low is going to come out of the North Pacific, cross the Alaska Peninsula Saturday morning, midday, and then kind of split. There's going to be a colder western part of this low that goes west of the Alaska Range into the southwest interior and then lifts northward through the interior Saturday night and Sunday. The other warmer side or piece of this low is going to come up through the western Gulf, impacting Kodiak Island with heavier rains there along the coast, and areas of the Kenai coastline could see some heavier rain, but then also some snow and wind. And that will be spreading northward up across the Alaska Range into the Copper River Basin. That's why you have this, at least currently, special weather statement. And then Thompson Pass and places like Hatcher Pass are going to get in on some heavy snow and blowing snow as well, especially Saturday into early Sunday. So after the low splits and we have that precipitation is going to work its way northward. So it'll likely impact areas here along the middle upper Yukon valleys. There'll be some additional advisories coming out of that, I'm sure, from the Fairbanks office. And some of that snow will spread all the way north across the North Slope and up along the Arctic coast. So it's going to be a very active weekend. But those of you here in the Southwest, there will be winter weather advisories or warnings for snow and blowing snow. Some of the heaviest snow could fall north of Dillingham in this region right here. So we're looking at an active pattern here for Easter weekend. The latest update from the River Forecast Center regarding spring breakup here on the rivers. It's looking like the ice breakup and snowmelt flood potential is currently rated normal for most of the major river systems. However, recent analysis has added the Kuskokwim River Basin. So the Kuskokwim and Copper River Basin rivers have an above normal chance of flood potential due to the current conditions there of the ice and snowpack and everything else. Otherwise, the Yukon, Koyukuk, Tanana, Chena, Susitna, and the North Slope River systems are still being evaluated to have a near normal flood potential. So you're going to want to stay tuned here in the coming weeks for additional updates and begin to prepare now for the river breakup season before the ice is breaking up and you have flooding problems. One thing, though, is certain with the extended forecast I'm going to show you, it's going to lend toward slowing down some of that melting here through the first half of April, because it's looking trending towards some cooler temperatures across the mainland. But what we are watching this Friday, we've had first system has already lifted up here to around the lower Yukon Delta, Etolan Strait. That's weakening, but it has spread some light to moderate snow up into the southwest and west interior and coastal areas. Even been a little bit of a mix at times. And then the initial lead front pushing into the Gulf, that's also weakening. The precipitation from that is decreasing in intensity and coverage. It's down here. This is the hints of the next moisture feed. The strong low is going to come up here across or just east of Sand Point Saturday morning, and then lift the one piece, the cold piece of the low is going to go to the west of the Alaska Range, the warm side of it coming up through Cook Inlet and the western Gulf. So here is the current weather map this Friday afternoon. We have the first storm that's weakening now out there in the lower Yukon Delta area, and then we have secondary weak frontal wave low that's just northeast of Kodiak Island in the western Gulf with a warm front, and then the stationary front that's attached to the next low. So late tonight, early Saturday morning, the other low just kind of sits and spins there along the lower Yukon Delta and washes out there out toward Hooper Bay in that area. The other secondary low just kind of washes out with the front, and then this is going to become the dominant low as we go through late tonight and Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, we have the main low now located up there near Dillingham, King Salmon area, up through the upper parts of the Alaska Peninsula and kind of northeast Nook there of Bristol Bay. That low is going to split. A colder piece is going to go just west of the Alaska Range. That's more associated with the mid-upper level pattern. And then the warmer air and the warm side of that is going to be shunted up through the western Gulf and then up into areas east of the Alaska Range. So that's why we're going to have quite a variety of weather. This is a large system. It has more moisture to work with than the first one, and it's going to create high winds as well, especially through the Alaska Range and along the eastern hillside of Anchorage. So by Sunday, that low's already pushed up to the northeast there, eastern Brooks Range, lagging trough. And it's going to take some of that snow, not as heavy as intensity, but spread it across areas of the Brooks Range and North Slope Arctic coast. So a pretty good surge and push there of moisture. And there's yet hints of another system way out to the west of the Aleutians. That could be the next one that comes into the west and southwest coast early to midweek next week, probably like Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. That'll be the next significant system. And then behind all these, we're going to see a little cooler temperatures with this early next week, and then once that one finally gets by us, that'll just kind of ensure cooler temperatures continue beyond the first week of April. So looking at the temperatures here for the Panhandle, lows above freezing, mid-30s common. Temperatures near or above freezing, Anchorage Bowl southwestward, near freezing, 30-ish, below freezing I should say here, around Talkeetna, 23 up there at Gulkana. Saturday afternoon highs, we're going to have quite a push of milder air coming in ahead of the system. 40s, even some 50s. I wouldn't rule out lower 50s around Clawwalker, Craig. And you're going to get in on some precipitation too eventually here in the Panhandle, more likely Saturday night into Sunday. But areas here will be seeing that precipitation overspread the region. Parts of the western Kenai later Saturday into Sunday morning could see accumulating snows. That's why there will be winter weather advisory for all the Kenai Peninsula. But you're also going to see some periods of coastal rains here where temperatures will be warm enough. Hatcher Pass, though, heavy snow, blowing snow. Hatcher Pass over here, and Thompson Pass is getting in on some heavy snow and blowing snow as this system works its way northward. And then Sunday morning lows near freezing in Anchorage, and then you're going to see some stronger south-southwest winds kick in as this front lifts northward across the region. And there could actually be a period of accumulating snow in the Anchorage area, maybe a few inches or so during the day, especially Sunday morning, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But back here, temperatures in through the Panhandle could still be lower 40s, the southern parts, but there will be some accumulating light to maybe moderate snow here in the northern Panhandle and especially the inner coastal mountains. Most of the sea level areas along the outer and southern parts of the Panhandle will just stay rain with some breezy conditions. And Sunday afternoon high temperatures could still be up near 40 degrees in Anchorage, so any snow that does fall would be rather wet and sloppy. Temperatures 40s to near 50, especially the central southern Panhandle, but that would include some rain on Sunday and an initial push of maybe some snow in the higher elevations further up the northern parts of the Panhandle. In the far north, though, coldest temperatures near zero, Arctic coast, but we are going to see a push of strong winds, milder temperatures. There will be snow where there is higher elevation here in the Alaska range, but there could also be some rain mixed in the lower elevations where temperatures are well above freezing. And for Sunday morning, not all that cold, but that precipitation, that moisture is going to spread throughout the interior. So there will be areas of precipitation, light, moderate, locally heavy, in through this region of the Yukon Valley and up. It'll eventually lift up to the Brooks Range. So temperatures will modify at least over the central eastern interior. It could be up to 42 there at Eagle. And then as we look at the southwest, Saturday morning, temperatures there stay below freezing. This is the colder side of the storm. This favors an area for, a longer duration, moderate to heavy snow. So as we go through Saturday morning, the low is going to cut across the Alaska Peninsula, come up like this, and then the cold segment's going to go west of the Alaska Range with heavy snow in through this region. So again, stay tuned. There will be advisories and warnings for these areas for moderate to heavy snow and blowing snow. Saturday afternoon temperatures hover at best near freezing. And as I said, there'll be quite a burst, especially in this region here, that kind of remote lakes region to the north of Dillingham could get a couple feet of snow from a system like this. And as we go down through Sunday morning, colder. There's colder air beginning to spill in along the west coast, single digits along the lower Yukon. And as we head into Sunday afternoon, look at that, highs only in the 10 to 15 degree range. So colder air is going to wrap in around this system and be with us early next week, with yet another system likely to impact the southwest parts of the state as we get into next week. There'll be another storm coming in off the Bering. And so that's looking ahead here, April 4th through the 8th. With a pattern like this in early April, it's not warm enough to guarantee all rain. In fact, it favors snow. And as we go beyond April 6th through the 12th, temperatures are going to be cooler than normal across much of the state. The only benefit of that could slow snowmelt, ice breakup regarding the river breakup situation, so that could delay that. And precipitation, though, is expected to average above normal April 4th through the 8th in response to that particular storm coming across the region midweek. And then maybe relax a bit, but still a little above normal, more centered on the west, southwest parts of the mainland as we go through the period of April 6th through the 12th.